What's up guys? In this video I'm going to go over 5 key insights that I learned about women after working for nearly a decade in retail. Now I think this is something that I'm fairly qualified to talk about because for almost 10 years I had dozens of conversations with women for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. So this is something that I've spent a lot of time doing, and after doing this for a long enough time, I've noticed a lot of patterns emerge in, let's say the behavior of women. Some of these things are applicable to men as well. It's just that the demographic of the customers that I was selling to was 99.9% women. In fact, the only time I would ever sell to a man by himself, which is very rare, would be during Christmas time, where the man would be buying something for women in his life. So, without further ado, the first thing that I learned about women after working in retail for almost 10 years is that women are very bad with their money. Really bad. And to be fair, I'm not a woman and I'm also really bad with my money, but there's a lot of women who are much worse. They're very irresponsible when it comes to shopping. Now, this is not like a misogynistic comment or anything like that. Don't twist my words, but it's just something that I've noticed. Case in point, shopping malls still exist. Now, you can say, oh, shopping malls, they're on the decline. So many of them are closing. And that is true. They are, less popular than they were before online shopping was a thing, but a lot of them still exist, a lot of them still do very well, and a lot of these stores that are in shopping malls still make a ton of money, enough money to justify staying open all year round. Now, why is that? Because everybody knows, it's kind of common knowledge, that if you buy something online, it's going to be cheaper than if you buy it in person, specifically at a shopping mall. So in other words, everything is more expensive at the mall as opposed to buying it online. But why do so many people go to shopping malls? Well, if you've been to a shopping mall in the past, if you've ever been to a shopping mall, you'll notice that most of the people that go shopping at the mall are women. Okay, you have some high school kids that'll go there after school, groups of boys and girls, but most people, all things considered, that actually go to the mall to shop and buy things are women. Now, why is this? Well, it's because women don't really necessarily care about getting the best price for everything every single time they buy something, and this is my own personal theory, because they shop so much, right? Even your average woman who says she hates shopping and she never shops, how about this? Ask her how many pairs of shoes she has. Let's start there. How many pairs of jeans she has, how many shirts she has, how many dresses she has. I promise you, men out there, you will be shocked at how many articles of clothing women have, even the ones who say that they hate clothes. And I'm sure some of them will write a comment here and be like, well, actually, I only have 2 pairs of shoes and 3 shirts, so, I win the argument. But in my experience, that is an exception that proves the rule. And furthermore, many, many times when I've been in a demonstration and I've made a sale, the women will say, I don't even know why I'm buying this. I already have 3 of these. I just bought one of these last week. I don't even need this. All kinds of things like that. I've seen them transfer their last couple dollars from their bank account, to their other credit card just to buy something when it's clear that they, don't really need it. But as a salesperson, it's frog and the scorpion, right? Scorpion's gonna scorpion. The second thing that I learned about women from working in retail for almost 10 years is that women are much slower to make decisions than men. And this is very well illustrated by the difference in selling to a woman by herself as opposed to selling to a man and a woman together. And I can do another video on group dynamics if anybody cares. But a lot of the times, let's say you're trying to sell something to a man in retail and it's $100, maybe $200, not that much money, all things considered. If a man likes it, he'll kind of take a look, he'll think to himself, should I buy it, yes or no? And then if he likes it, he'll buy it. This is much less common with women. And again, I'm sure I'll hear, people will write in the comments, oh my God, but actually I'm a woman and if I see something that I like, I'm gonna buy it. Okay, that might be true, but when you're in a demonstration by a salesperson, you could say a high pressure situation, it's less likely that you'll respond that way. Whereas a man is more likely to be like, okay, what is it, $200? Okay, fine, I'll take it, leave me alone. But women are much less likely to do that. And what I've kind of, the conclusion I've drawn from this, or the reason that I think this is that because their decision-making process is not so much about pursuing the best option, the best final outcome, like you would think it would be, like it is for men, you could argue. It's more about avoiding a negative outcome, right? So when you sell to a man, he's thinking, and I'm completely making this up, based on my own experience. When you sell to a man, he's thinking, will this make my life better? Right? Whereas if you sell to a woman, she's thinking, is this not going to make my life worse? For example, some of the reasons she wouldn't buy is if she thinks she would get made fun of by her friends for, in this specific example, buying from one of those kiosk people. Or she would think that you're only after her for her money and you don't actually like her as a person. One of the ways that you can get around this, little side note, is by making jokes, getting them to laugh, maybe flirting with them a little bit, asking them some personal questions, get to know them a little bit better, telling them maybe one or two things about yourself so that they feel they know you a little bit better. All kinds of little things like that you can do. Okay, so number 3 is that resting bitch face is actually a thing. Now, a lot of the times you'll hear about resting bitch face. Like, what is resting bitch face? So basically, it's this idea that people's neutral face is kind of emotionless and expressionless. And for, the perception is that a lot of women have this look on their face where they're just kind of like pissed off about something. And you're kind of like a little bit scared to talk to them because of this resting bitch face where you just kind of assume that they're going to snap at you or yell at you or just be rude to you if you start talking to them. Now, the thing with kiosk sales is that if you let this get the better of you, you're headed for trouble, right? When you work at a kiosk, when you're selling things, you work only on commission, there's all kinds of reasons why you would fail in a day, why you wouldn't sell anything or why you would close on a bad number. But what you have to do is you have to kind of suspend your negative thoughts, let's say, or your self-fulfilling prophecies that are negative. You have to suspend those, and you have to kind of just assume that you have to just try anyway, really, is what it is. And I can't tell you how many times I was put in this position where I would see somebody walking by and I'd be like, she looks like a huge bitch. Like, I'm sure if I try to stop her, she would, threaten to report me to the management or something, which has happened before. But many times, in fact, the majority of times where I would go and I would try and approach these women, in a sales context who are seemingly unapproachable, they would respond very friendly with a smile. Even if they wouldn't stop, they would smile, they would say no thank you, they would laugh. And the change was almost instantaneous from the resting bitch face to like a smiling and happy, normal person who it would even seem like we had known each other for a long time. Okay, so resting bitch face, that is definitely a thing, and don't let it get to you, I guess. Okay, number 4, women are more risk averse than men. Well, actually, I guess a better way to say this is that women will try to avoid responsibility for making a purchase if they're with their boyfriend or their husband. And basically how this works is like this, right? And anybody out there who's experienced this, maybe with your girlfriend or maybe with your boyfriend, feel free to leave me a comment below and tell me that I'm right. So basically what happens is that sometimes you'll get couples that go to the mall, and it'll be, let's say it's a boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife, and you'll stop the woman and she'll sit for the demo, and the boyfriend will be there as well. And part of doing a good demo is engaging the entire group. So when you're engaging the entire group, what you'll notice sometimes is that the woman really likes it, and you can tell after years of experience that she likes it, she wants to buy it, it works better than what she has, and for her, she's kind of already sold. But the boyfriend, because he doesn't really know anything about products like this, and because he's not, unfortunately, not as adept at judging the reactions and emotions of your average kiosk salesperson, which sounds ridiculous, but it's actually true. Be wary of those kiosk salespeople. We are like very dangerous people, kind of, not really. Because he's not as adept at judging what those emotions are, he doesn't know, he can't really tell that she really likes it. And because men are much more logical and rational and direct in their communication, he's waiting for some sort of literal like statement from her that is going to say like, I like it, I want to buy one, buy it for me. So a lot of the times what you'll actually see is the woman will like it, and you'll kind of be communicating with her in a way to elicit some sort of commitment from her that she likes it. And then what you'll hear the boyfriend say is like, do you like it? Do you want me to buy it for you? I'll buy it for you right now. But what happens is, because the woman does not want to accept responsibility for saying, yes, I like it, buy it for me, She'll say, I don't know, if you want to, like, it's up to you. That's actually very common to hear that. It's up to you. And this is interpreted by the boyfriend as like, maybe she doesn't really like it that much, because if she really liked it, she would communicate to me like a man would and would say, yes, I'd like it, buy it for me. Well, that's a big mistake right there. And that's a problem that requires a little bit more finesse in solving when you're a salesperson. But the point is this, is that a lot of the times what happens is that men and women, or, husband or boyfriend and girlfriend will go to the mall just to walk around, or maybe to buy something for somebody else. And if the woman kind of like, can be blamed, or it can be like logically interpreted that it's her fault for making this purchase. This is something that the boyfriend can use against her later to say like, well, I just bought you this, why should I have to do this for you? Or like, why are you being a bitch to me? I just bought you that $200 hair straightener, whatever it is. So as a way to kind of avoid that potential negative, avoid that responsibility, you'll find a lot of non-committal language. So, little fun fact here, it's up to you as the salesperson to figure out how to like elicit that from her in a way that doesn't really like set off any alarm bells with the husband or boyfriend. It's very, very, very slick of me, if I do say so myself. The fifth thing that I learned about women after working in retail for almost 10 years is that it's very easy to judge what their, let's call it like marital status, although marital status includes like boyfriend possibly. It's very easy to like deduce their marital status with one simple question. And I could make an entire video on this question like right away. But this question is, how many boyfriends do you have? And I feel kind of bad giving away this line, because this is literally the best line. This line has closed so many sales for me, has like opened up so many doors for me, has gotten so many people who started out hating me to like me. And it tells you a lot about the woman based on her answer to this question. So again, like I said, I could go into this in more detail in another video, but in general, a woman who is single will generally give an exaggerated answer. She'll say like, oh, I have 10 boyfriends, I have 50 boyfriends, I have 1,000 boyfriends, because it's obviously a ridiculous question. So she'll play along and give you an equally ridiculous answer. Or if she's single and kind of sad about the fact that she's single, she'll kind of like look sad and say, no, I don't have any boyfriends. If she's married, which is generally easy to tell because she'll have a wedding ring on her finger, I'll ask her the question anyway. And if she's married, she'll say, I don't have any boyfriends, I have a husband. So that's, one way to tell. And sometimes they don't wear the ring, to be fair. It's actually a thing. And if they have a boyfriend, one that they're serious with, maybe they live with the boyfriend, or maybe they're not like looking, to meet any new people, they'll laugh and say, ha ha ha, I only have one, So they'll all kind of respond to that question in a different way. And it's the reason that I bring this up is because a lot of the times women won't necessarily mention whether or not they're seeing anybody in the first couple of minutes of conversation, or even the first 15 or 20 minutes of conversation. And the reason I'm like saying this, oh my God, I have to like tickle. The reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of the time, when you work in the mall and you're a man and you're talking to women all day, a lot of the times you're going to talk to some of these girls and you're going to want something more with them than just, salesperson customer interaction. And in my opinion, I would rather not start talking to somebody who's involved with somebody else. Although like you could make the argument that most of the most attractive girls in the world are kind of already slightly involved with somebody just because they're so attractive and so highly sought after. But anyway, it's a good way to kind of shake the bushes, so to speak, to see what's going on with them. Okay, so those were 5 things that I learned about women after almost 10 years in retail. Tell me, is that interesting to you? Do you guys care? Do you want to see a video on group dynamics? I might make one anyway because I don't actually care what you want to see. But tell me anyway what other videos that you might want to see. Are these videos about sales or like working in the mall, are they interesting to you? Are they boring? Let me know. Peace.